It's time to figure out who will be racing for a championship, and for us to get that down, we first need to race here at Fontana. It's Auto Club for the California 200 for the Stars and Stripes Xfinity Series. The drivers have had an intense playoffs where it's been dominated by Kyle McCoy, but Kyle McCoy's already locked in based off of last week's win at Darlington. 3 more spots are open to figure out who will race for championship. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on Freaky Fast Broadcasting for Thursday night racing in the Xfinity cars, and soon to be coming to a conclusion as we're a week away from the Championship 4. But we first have to conquer this track here in California Auto Club. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. And Zach, we had a little bit of a situation with setting up the session. They had to restart it because they had it too foggy. Now it's completely clear, which means the track a little on fire.
Yeah, very much on fire tonight. I mean, as much as these drivers are going to feel like the heat out here on the racetrack with the grip level, they're going to feel the heat in their minds too, just doing the who can get into those final 3 slots. I mean, we talked about how close this is for those 3. It's going to be amazing to watch, but like you said, the track is on fire tonight. 133 degrees right now is our track temp. We'll look at the weather later and bring that up during the race to see if that transitions a little bit. But right now, this track has the grip level that you could possibly lowestly have it at. It's going to be fun to watch these guys slip and slide around here and try to find the grip.
They're going to be searching for it a lot, but this is a 2-mile course where it's plenty of space to go anywhere from 3 to 4, 5, even at times you can force it 6 wide, but it's a little dangerous to do so. But it's the final race to put up or shut up on who's going to be racing for a championship. Zach, we were looking at the points coming into this race. Already we know that's locked in. It's Kyle McCoy, our season 1 championship victor of the Stars and Stripes series, and also looking like, just based on the amount of drivers that are logged in currently, which can fluctuate and change as we get to qualifying, but currently, just by starting the race, Scott Rickard looking like he'll be also locking himself in just by starting. But the final 2 spots, those drivers all within about 5 to 12 points from one another.
Yeah, that's where, like you said, it gets very, very close. You know, Scott Rickard's definitely hoping nobody else gets into this race because it's going to look like he's going to get in or lock himself in by the hair of his chin. But Kyle Bowling there, like you said, 12 points to elimination there, 3rd. He had a great race last week. We'll have to see if he can come back out here and carry some of that consistency he's been showing. Travis Butt is one that I'm really looking at. He's 1 point to the good right now, 4th there. But Offerman, Holland, and Grimm all within 5 points right there from 5th, 6th, and 7th. Christopher Wade, unfortunately for him, he's in a must-win position here, 49 points out. But I tell you what, you know, if Wade wins, it changes a lot of things too. But we're going to have to watch all night long as this changes back and forth, just how close it is with these points.
Yeah, it is going to be a lot of changing, and you know, we're here at Auto Club, a track that we've already noted on. Grip's going to be an issue, but also, Zach, with the aero package what the Xfinity cars are running, you know, it's different from what the Cup machines, which we're going to be seeing on Saturday night. But with these Xfinity cars, how much is dirty air and also this aero package going to be influencing these drivers here tonight?
Oh, the influence of this dirty air is just going to just take away even more grip. You know, we talked about how the track surface is on fire here tonight with 133 degrees there. That dirty air is only going to make that worse. You're going to have to be looking to find those lanes that have the clean air. This track is very wide, but due to some recent things, from what I've noticed, it doesn't seem to get as wide with the racing line, though. So we'll have to see if someone can venture out there and find something. The last time we were here at Auto Club, you could really get up against the wall and make it work, but it seems like lately here, just not able to do that. So these drivers are going to be looking all over the place to find that grip level, because I think most of the time you're going to be looking to run the bottom, but if you can find somewhere else to make time and get out of that dirty air, that's how you're going to be able to make passes here tonight.
They're going to be important, but we've talked about that of aero package, getting clean air. Well, this is the place to get that track position. Qualifying underway as we're running on a board with that of Travis Dart, who's currently putting down his first time, going to be starting his first time as drivers are getting ready to go. Zach, qualifying here at Auto Club, you touched on it, kind of feels like it might be a 1-lane. Drivers going to be searching during the race. But here in qualifying, we're already starting to see drivers trying to get low. But this track, in my, whenever I've raced at Auto Club, I've been the worst driver at Auto Club personally. I've never truly figured out this track. But what are some of the factors for these drivers to focus on during qualifying?
Well, like one of the things you pointed out there, getting to the bottom, right there as we're watching our drivers put down times, you can see them trying to get to that white line. But also, this track is very much a momentum track, very long corners and long straightaways. So you have very sweeping entries. You'll see the drivers enter way up against the wall, then drive all the way 5-6 lanes down to that white line and try to get the straightest, greatest exit they possibly can, because these straightaways are super, super long, and this track just in general is a long track. It's all about keeping your momentum and speed up and not losing that momentum as you lift out of these throttles. But going to be lifted a lot here tonight due to that track temp and just to the grip flow with this Xfinity car, very low downforce. You're going to see a lot of off throttle time and drivers really searching all around here. But I think right now fastest times are going to have to be right against that white line.
Go riding on top of the 209 to Travis Dart currently as he is finishing up his last time and surging and letting this car drift down to the outside wall, down to the apron, and drivers can go onto the apron, but it is a risk to go down there and try to find space to get back up. That's going to be something to talk about during this race. But currently, top of the board, it's the 44 of Kyle Boyling who's going to be top of the board. And Kyle, this is, looking at Kyle Boyling up front, Kyle McCoy's driver expected to get a better qualifying time, currently 5th, but he's already locked in. Scott Ricker's already locked in. He's back in 6th. Then we're seeing a lot of our playoff drivers, 8 that are up front qualifying well. There's a few that of non-playoff drivers, such as that of Metcalf and that of Nate Lynch up front. But Zach, got to say, this field, they are certainly finding the speed currently.
That they are, and got to give a shout out to like Kyle Bowen there for that top time. I mean, what a lap for him there. He's been knocking on that door of a race win here lately, really right around that top 3 area every single race here in the playoffs. I could see him go out here and get the win tonight. And, he's 12 points to the good, so he doesn't need that win. But if he went out there and got it, it would just make him have that much more momentum heading into next week's Final Four championship race. And then, like you said, Travis Butts there's the second. That is going to be a big one because he's right there on that 4th slot. If he wants any chance to go to Homestead next week and fight for a championship, he has got to be perfect here tonight at the Auto Club Speedway.
And currently watching of all where the drivers are at, there's about a minute left in qualifying. The drivers had 5 minutes to complete 2 laps for themselves, and we've already had our 19 put down a lap. Still waiting for 3 other drivers to go out there and finish up if they're planning on putting a lap down, as we're riding on board with that of Brian Lynch as well as that of Mike Lynch, going to be just staying in pit road. So looking like Brian's going to be the last of our drivers to try to qualify, and the 24 going to be up to 19th, pushing that of Travis Dart down to 1 position. But looks like for the 24, just running in the middle and trying to find that speed on the second groove. We'll see if this second lap works out for the 24 team.
And I just keep looking through the board here and just seeing names that need good runs. Dylan Grimm there in that 7th spot, Derek Offerman in the 4th spot. Those 2 drivers looking to force their way into that top 4 here tonight. Also, Nick Holland, he's had such a good run this season and has at some points looked like one of the most dominant drivers out there. He's on the outside looking in. He's qualified right now in that 10th position. Also, can't forget about Christopher Wade there, 8th man in points coming here tonight in a must-win spot. He's sitting 14th on the board right now. It's all over the place, Sam. I cannot wait to get this green flag.
As qualifying has come to a close, and as we're getting ready for Kicker, feel what you've been missing. Use the promo code FreakyFast20. That's Freaky with 2 E's. FreakyFast20 for 20% off with your Gamer 2 from ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing, as well as McConey Setup Shop. They're our setups, but they're your victories. If you want to get 10% off on setups at McConey Setup Shop, use the promo code FFB10. As we're looking at the grid, starting off, it's going to be that of Cowboy, going to be on the pole position, and in second, it's going to be that of Travis Butt, finishing out your first row. In row 2, Zach, we just look at the field. They are certainly got a lot of speed.
Definitely a lot of speed shown there in that first row, but the second row is going to have Jason Metcalf. He's had a lot of speed so far this playoff season. Just hadn't had the results to go with it. But fourth's going to be Derek Offerman there. What a run he's had. He's going to need a perfect night here in row number 2.
Row number 3, we've got the 2 drivers that are automatically going to be locked in for our Championship 4. It's that of Kyle McCoy, got the win last week at that of Darlington. And then you've got the driver that's pointing his way in, Scott Rickard, in the 05, currently going to be in 6th for row number 3.
In row number 4, you're going to have another driver trying to fight his way in here tonight to get in that final 4 playoff spots. That's going to be Dylan Grimm in the 7th position. Starting alongside him here, looking for a good run here in the playoffs. Not involved in the playoffs, but looking for another good run is Nate Lynch in the 25, rounding out your row number 4.
Row number 5, you got that of Ken Campbell as well as Nick Holland. Nick Holland, again, looking out, outside looking in, needing to have a solid finish for himself. But due to the fact that Scott Rickard's already gridded up, most likely going to be able to do 1 lap. We're only going to be having about 2 spots that can be grabbed, and 6 drivers are looking for those spots, as it's going to be Kyle Boiling as well as Travis Butt inside of our top 4. And looking out, who need to have great runs, Derek Offerman, Nick Holland, Dylan Grimm, those 3 drivers can point their way into our final 4, but it's going to be that of Chris Wade that is in a must-win scenario for the 53 as you look at the rest of the board. Do want to give note that Randy Cornwell is a race control driver, so only 22 drivers have logged in for today's race. Zach, as the drivers are getting ready to get moving here, up front, I mean, we already know most of the playoff drivers that we're looking at. They're going to be up front. They need to be up front. Bonus points to look out for that of Kyle. He got 2 bonus points for himself with getting the pole position. And now, other bonus points to be grabbed. 1 point for leading a lap and 3 points for leading the most laps. Those are the only bonus points that can be gained besides the position that you're running.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Kyle Bolin goes out there and gets those points, that's going to put him in a better position. Like you said, already got the 1 for the pole position. And then you're also going to, or 2, sorry, for pole position. Then 1 there, for, he's going to get here for most likely leading a lap. But if he can get those most laps led, that'll give him a good little buffer zone, even if he has an incident later in this race.
Well, folks, it's time. Playoff racing. It has been incredible. Round of 12 earlier in the playoffs. We're concluding the round of 8, and then we get to go to Homestead next week to see who's going to be for getting the championship done. But here tonight, 100 laps at that of Auto Club Speedway. 2 miles each lap, and it is a long one. But you see Barney the flag man, arm ready. Flag stand is on the go. Green flag in the air as we are green to see who's making it into our Championship 4 from the Elite 8. And it's up front. It's the 44 as well as the 00 taking us into turn number 1.
Side by side for the lead. Travis Butt going to try everything in his power to get a bonus point early in the going in his 00. Same for Kyle Bowling. Both these drivers 3rd and 4th in points, looking to be in that final 4.
And you also got to watch out for that of Jason Metcalf, a driver that really is just racing for himself. Nothing on the line for the 35, but everything to be lost for that of the 00, the 44, and the 20 of a playoff driver. Hottest driver of the season. I mean, in the playoffs, Kyle McCoy back in 7th as they're side by side into the wall. Looked like it was the 20 as they're fading back. A lot of blocking going on. Dylan Grimm trying to hold off the 68.
Oh, man, that was Derek Offerman who got in the wall off of 4 there. That created a little bit of a stack up we had. And Offerman dropping back multiple spots there, back to the 8th position. Now fighting with Kyle McCoy, our only locked in, or other locked in driver with Scott Rickard here tonight as they go down the back straightaway, hitting the bumps. Offerman needing to stay out of that wall here as the race continues on.
Driver that's on the move. It's Dylan Grimm. Currently the 23 DoorDash machine is on the move, as you can see. Right now, playoff drivers all on top of one another, and it's all the drivers. Dylan Grimm, both up front, needing to have solid runs, both being about 4 points is for Nick Holland outside of our final 4 points wise, as he's trying to get past that at Travis Butt. And then you've also got Dylan Grimm in 7th in points, 5 points out from the 00, and 17 points out from that of Kyle Boiling. So a lot of points need to be grabbed, and we'll touch more on how the point system works, because where the drivers finish, it's kind of it's extremely different for most leagues, but kind of also helpful for drivers with this smaller field than what we've seen earlier in the season.
Yeah, definitely. So you can gain a lot more points with passes here. One driver I'm watching drop back, and it's some classic guys see so far with the double zero into the playoffs is Travis Butt. He is continuing to fall through this field from that second starting position here as he's again looking to conserve those tires, but how conservative are you going to be to give up all these spots? Those are multiple points going out the front windshield here, and while your competition and most of the drivers up front are going forward, this is going to be a tough position as he gets to a bump to the back end there from the 59 machine of Max Ward. That could have been devastating.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a risky call. You either got to move forward and be racing for a chance for a win or fall back. And I mean, the way that he's just falling back, you would think that maybe the double zero is having an issue with how quickly he continues to drop back. But Zach, how much are the tires going to be important if you're losing this much ground to the drivers ahead of you?
Yeah, you know, tires are a huge, huge factor here at this old bumpy surface here at the Auto Club Speedway. One of the oldest surface in NASCAR, I believe. Actually, it may be the oldest. So it's got very low grip level and very abrasive when it comes to the racing out here, and especially with how long the corners are, the tires do wear a considerable amount. But I'll tell you what, giving up this track position is something you kind of really do not want to do with this package. It's just so hard to pass and get by people once they get in front of you. It's such an advantageous position to have that cleaner air in front of you, and the farther you get back there, the worse the air gets. So we'll have to see what Travis Butt decides to do. Maybe he's having issues, or maybe he is trying to save tires. It'll have to be something we have to watch as his long run speed continues on here through the run.
And as we see the 53, this is Christopher Wade, the driver that comes into today's race as a must-win driver. Missed out on Darlington last week, and all the pressure is now on this driver, Zach, of a must-win scenario. And luckily there were some drivers that, there's a shot of faltering here tonight. Auto Club, with how hot the track surface is, there's a chance that we could be seeing a lot more slipping and sliding as the run continues on. But I got to say, for the 53 of that of Chris Ward, ninth place currently, still has a lot of time to be gained, but luckily there's still a lot of time in this race, only on the start of lap 7 out of 100.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of different strategies being played out here. I mean, Christopher Wade, he's gone up to that 9th position like he alluded. A lot of drivers really driving through the field. We got Max Ward here, 16th to 13th. He's elected to take the outside lane, so very interesting. That Summer using the tires, another good example. Nick Holland, he's 10th to 4th there now. So a lot of the playoff guys that are looking on the outside, looking in, they're trying to go forward, get the points here early, and try to hold to that position as the race goes on. While Travis Butt, the 4th place man points, he's kind of elected to do the opposite. So definitely two different things we're seeing play out there, but definitely interesting for the first 8 laps here already.
Bolin's been up front. He's doing well, but he's now being challenged by that of Jason Metcalf, and Zach's got a note on it. Who is going to be willing to try to go to the outside and use a little bit more of the track? Well, it's the 35, and he's getting a lot of draft help as it's the 44 all on his lonesome on the inside, and on these long stretches, you're looking for the draft help. More cars that are in line, the faster they can go. And there goes the 35. It's Metcalf to the lead point. And now it's Dylan Grimm trying to make the pass for second. And he is now clear as he's going to get a little bit more help from Nick Holland in 4th.
Big run here from Grimm down the front straightaway. What's he going to do? He's going to elect to go to the outside here, Jason Metcalf, as Nick Holland and Dylan Grimm just continue to drive through the field here, trying to be able to maybe lock themselves in with the win. Maybe it's going to take a win here to get yourself in. You never know with how these scenarios play out. But great racing here in the first 9 laps as Grimm going to have to run down the back straightaway.
I mean, you got to think for, that of Nick Holland as well for Dylan Grimm. They're coming into this stretch now. They both knew that it was going to be tough to try to outpoint the 44 team, Kyle Bolin, and now with the fact that the 44 has been up front, got himself the pole position as well, led a lap. That's 3 bonus points that's going to the 44 team. On top of Dylan Grimm now leading the lap. That's going to be a point given to the 23 as they move forward.
Oh, man, this is definitely shaking things up here. As you can now see, Nick Holland, I mean, the outside line, it really does seem to be coming in, especially that second groove. That's where the passes are getting made. That bottom lane looking very tough to hold your car down there. And that's most likely due to them hotter temperatures, just not much grip. And right now, drivers just finding that outside line a little bit easier to make passes when you're side by side up there.
Yeah, and we continue to talk about note on the drivers that are moving forward. Nick Holland up to second with Dylan Grimm in first. The 44 only going to be in fourth position. Scott Rickard, another playoff driver, just by starting here today. And the amount of drivers that showed up, the 05 is locked in. So we already know two drivers that are racing for a championship, and they're two former champions. That of Kyle McCoy, who's won every single playoff race so far. He was our season one winner in that of the Stars and Stripes Xfinity season. Last season, it was that of Scott Rickard, and Dylan Grimm having a little bit of issues up front, but able to hold on for now. Got to be careful for himself, as you saw on the ticker, a little bit of a shuffle, but champion in the trucks when they were running trucks last season, and this season weren't sure how these drivers are going to attack with one another.
Great battling going on the front straightaway here as Rickard's starting to come up into position. And yeah, great information you're giving us there, Sam, with just it's cool to see the ebbs and flows of how competitive this league here is at the Stars and Stripes Racing Series. So many good drivers as we look back. Hoffman now leading this back here in the 6th position as he's got Kyle McCoy there locked in to that championship 4 there with Nate Lynch. Also in 25 is Christopher Wade battles with Trey Jackson. Battles all around this place, man. Just a really great track and a great one to decide our Final 4 at here at Auto Club.
It certainly is, as we ride on board with Kyle McCoy, our winner 3 races in a row so far. It's the 7 machine. As just we talk about how big this track is. Well, he's got a difference of a full 1.2 seconds away from the drivers ahead of him, and he really doesn't have that draft help to really pull him along. Now it's all on tires for the 7, as he's got Derek Offerman to his outside.
That he does, and man, oh man, trying to make that pass there, just very tough to do it when you have a car on the outside, and it makes it so much tougher. And just it takes so much grip away and side force that your car just really doesn't want to turn down there, and it's just hard to make that pass. Now as the 25 of Nate Lynch, he tries to do the same on Derek Offerman. What a great run here from the bottom from him. Great pass on that 20.
The 20 is going to be doing everything in its power as we fall back and see that of Trey Jackson as well as that of Dylan Glass side-by-side racing. And further back, I mean, these drivers, for the non-playoff drivers, they're here just to try to get consistent runs, prepare themselves, and get the momentum for this end of the season, going into next season, which been hearing from the drivers. Rumors are boiling over as they're talking about which car they want to use next, as each season they have changed which vehicles they've ran. Potential chance of running the Cup cars next season is the talking point for this league, but still not confirmed yet, but that is on the top of the list currently for a lot of these drivers.
Well, I'll tell you what, that'll be interesting to see what they decide, because they put on a show in the Xfinity Series for sure. I'm sure they could do the same thing in any other car of choice, but down the front straightaway we can see little lines and separate groups of drivers forming here as Grimm, he's really starting to stretch his legs on the field here, building up about a 7/10 of a second lead there over Nick Holland, who stretched over Scott Rickard. Now as Metcalf and Bowling look to go at it, but McCoy, he's really closing the gap down along with Nate Lynch. Nate Lynch having a great run here in the playoffs now.
Yeah, and we're talking about the drivers that are up front. Note again, Travis Butt decided to just fall back on his own, all the way back in 19th position as the 00, and has not shown any real signs that he's going to be moving forward. He's running just as fast as our leader, but that's equal to a lot of the drivers that he's around. Butt's got a lot of work as he is over almost 9 seconds back from our leader currently.
Yeah, he's definitely employed an interesting strategy, to say the least. I like where Travis does this. He's really methodical, thinking about how he wants to work through the race here. But at the same time, he's giving up so much ground to the drivers up ahead. We'll have to see if he can work his way back throughout these 100 laps. Like we said, it's a long race, so he's got a chance to do it here. But just the pace being equal to the leader is not going to make up that 9.5 second gap. He's going to have to try to get every position possible there in that 00 if he wants to make it on points.
Certainly is. It's side by side with that of Travis Dart as well as other drivers. Got to be careful not pinching everyone, as these are kind of the drivers that Butt really hasn't been around. These are the guys that have been driving further back, aiming for top 10s, top 15 finishes. That of Brian Chu, as well as Travis Dart. I think a big surprise as well for me seeing back here is we've got Travis Butt as well as the 4 of Aaron Hale. Those are 2 drivers that we've seen be able to march their way through the field at multiple times throughout this season of starting further back then moving forward. But here tonight, don't want to lose too much ground, especially if this race continues to stay green, Zach. This is still a lot of ground that needs to be caught up for both those drivers.
A lot of ground that has to be made up for sure. And, you know, definitely the time is there. The time definitely is there for these drivers to make it up. But it's so tough to pass. That's one thing there's so many good guys in this league that you put yourself back here, it's going to be a long time before you get up there. And see, now they're battling here in this 4 machine and 00. And also, it's worst case scenario for Travis, but with Dylan Grimm out front, and not only that, with Nick Holland in second. If one of those 2 wins, the points line gets pushed up even farther to Kyle Bowling, and that puts Travis Butt out of this thing.
Yeah, it's not good at all, especially on the fact that Dylan Grimm has led a lap and now is the most laps led currently, as we continue to try to track that on who's got the most laps led currently. Is the 23 that continues to show the way here tonight, as this DoorDash machine won back at the Indianapolis Oval, and ever since getting into the playoffs, Dylan Grimm has been showing a lot of speed, but unlucky fortunes happened late in the race that have bumped him into really sketchy positions in the last race of the season each time. And Dylan Grimm, once again, needs to find his mark here at Auto Club, and it's going to be about tires, the draft, similar factors that got him a win at Indianapolis.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's, running good at Indy can actually have some pretty good things to bring over to this track. They're not the most similar of tracks, but they are very long super speedways. And, you got to be able to very much carry the momentum like this with the Xfinity car here with the lower horsepower and just on these lower banks. So you are really, really kind of able to carry that over. Maybe Grimm will, but right now, from what I'm seeing, Holland's starting to inch maybe a little bit farther forward here on this 23, but they can't look too far back as Kyle McCoy, he's been the driver I've been watching in the 7 machine. He's starting to march his way up forward too, maybe to get another win here in the playoffs. I mean, this guy has been on fire, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the last lap, fastest car of our top 5 was that of Kyle McCoy, who is slowly making his charge forward, but he's 2.5 seconds back from our leader. And then you fall back from Kyle McCoy. You see him side by side. It's Metcalf and Boyling that are still battling side by side, and they've been like duking at this since lap 3. They continue to stay side by side, and at some point you got to be a little irritated that you're still side by side, and it must feel like for the 44 losing ground with this battle that continues to surge on.
Yeah, he's trying everything in his power to get around the outside here, Jason Metcalf, as Metcalf was able to get around him early into going around lap 8 and really never went back from there, as now Bowling has caught up to him, and they've been side by side for a very few laps. I think he's going to get it done out of 4 here. It looks like Christopher Wade going to try to follow him through there in the 53 machine as Metcalf continues to drop back from getting that lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's so helpful to have a driver just stick to your back bumper and help you get a little bit of a draft help to make the pass, as we ride on board with that of Chris Wade. And Wade, coming into today's race, yes, a must-win scenario, but he has not won this year, and has been a big question of what type of Chris Wade are we to get at a lot of these races. Comes in with 3 top 5s, 10 top 10s for Chris Wade, but this 53 machine, probably one of the most inconsistent of our playoff 8 that are still here, because you never know what you're going to get. A driver that's going to be racing for a top 15, or a driver that has potential of a top 5 finish.
Well, it looks like tonight he's brought a little bit of extra speed to maybe get that top 5, but he's going to need more. So he's going to have to bring even more than that than normal. So we need Christopher Wade to get himself on up farther up there right now on the back of Kyle Bowling, but starting to drive away there from that 35 of Jason Metcalf, who's really struggling here as this run continues on. And the one guy that we talked about dropping super far back, he is up to 15th now, and he is turning some of the fastest lap times on the racetrack, and that's Travis Butt in the 00. So he's closing up the Mike Lynch in the 2. He's continuing to run really quick times, but still 8.7 seconds back. He has made up a little bit of time, but still just not enough in my opinion.
Yeah, that's been the big thing for that of Travis Butt. He's been around that 8-second mark, even though he's been running faster than our leader. He has not been truly gaining time in these last 5 laps, and he needs to start doing so. And that's what we're going to be seeing, what type of gear switch he's the 00 going to have for himself. And in front of the 00, who Travis Butt's trying to get by, that's Derek Offerman in 13th position. And we noted on the 20 machine, he was running in 13th currently. We talked about the fact that Derek Offerman got into the wall. I mean, it looks like that him brushing the wall is hurting him pretty drastically as he is running some of the slowest laps of everyone on the track currently.
Yeah, I looked at that damage, Sam, and that is a very hurt 20 machine. That has very, very considerable amount of right front fender damage, and that's going to kill the straightaway speed not only, but also really hurt the downforce in the corners and make you a lot more tight than what you need to be and slow you down. And that's really why I think we're seeing some of the slowest times being turned for him. Ooh, look at that battle there. King Campbell going around the outside there, I believe, Jason Metcalf.
Yeah, Metcalf starting to fall back and losing ground after being passed by the 44 and the 53 when they were up in 7th and 6th position. Metcalf is now falling outside of the top 10, 35. Got to be careful, but we touched on it, Zach, the weather. That was something that we were going to note on a little bit more as we're a quarter of the way through this race. Again, this is the final race of the Elite 8 to figure out who will be racing for the championship. And you see there, Zach, the track temp on the top right, 134 degrees. It is extremely hot, not a lot of wind, only 2 miles per hour. Ambient temperature, 78 degrees, but it's that track temp that has been the biggest factor here tonight.
Oh, it is huge, 134 degrees. We started off when we first got into the session at 133, so we've already gained 1 Fahrenheit there to the track temp, and I really think that's going to continue to go up as this race goes on. We're only 26 laps in. These cars are going to put more heat down as even tonight's weather is constant. So that means we are stuck at 12 o'clock noon in sim time, and this weather is not changing. So really, I think the track's only going to get hotter from here. We could possibly see it maybe raise up into the range of 136 degrees, and luckily no wind out there for really only 2-mile-an-hour wind north, so it's a nice day and clear here at Auto Club, but very hot racing surface for some good old racing.
Well, here's the 25, Nate Lynch leading the charge of the 44 and the 53, that 44 of Kyle Bowling as well as Christopher Wade. But Nate Lynch, what a run that we've been seeing from this 25 team. Nate, he's been doing everything to try to get better each and every week, and I've got to say, he's been doing that for sure. As this 25 team, there's been moments in the middle of the season where you saw some speed, but it hasn't been consistent. I got to say, right now running 5th for that of Nate Lynch, this could be one of his best finishes of the year at the pace that he's going.
What a time to do it, to get some momentum build up for a new season here in the next to last race, and maybe go in the Homestead, even have a good one there. That'll be key for him. But what I'm looking at is Kyle Boland in the 44, our pole setter. You can see him there on the bottom, that yellow car. He is dropping back like a rock as everybody goes around the outside. First it was Christopher Wade, next it was Trey Jackson, now Dylan Glass. He's going to try everything in his power, maybe to slide in front of King Campbell, but giving up spots here in a hurry for this 44.
And we're seeing now as the run continues on, like most tracks where you got a lot of tire wear, that becomes a factor. Drivers moving up and finding speed for themselves. As the 44, like I said, trapped on the inside and being passed by practically everyone. Been on the same train of being passed, similar to what happened to Jason Metcalf just about 5 laps ago, as the 44 went from up in that 6th position to back to 10th in just a lap and a half.
And if you look back into the screen back there, Jason Metcalf, he's got somebody on the back bumper, and that's the 00 of Travis. But I doubted him how far he dropped back, but he is already flirting with the top 10 here. As he's going to go for 11th here off of 4. You can just see the grip level difference. He drives straight to the inside of that 35 off of 4, continues the run down the front straightaway. He should be almost clear as he gets down to 1. He's going to set his sights now. Kyle Bowling up there in that 44 machine. So right now, not too, the 2 different strategies playing out. Bowling leading the first 8 laps of this race, and then Travis Butt dropping 9.5 seconds back. He's drove up within almost 8 seconds here in the leader, but really not gaining too much time on the leader. Really though, gaining positions on the track though.
Hey, you might not know what he's thinking at the start, but at the conclusion, that of Mr. Butt knows what he's talking about as he is now moving forward up to 11th. The furthest back that the 00 was all the way back to 19th position. Now back to 11th, and soon, based on his pace, to be cracking into the top 10 as into pit road. Our first pit stop gonna be that of Nate Lynch into pit road, and following suit, Derek Offerman as well.
Well, I tell you what, they were reading my mind. I was just about to say next time I talked was we were going to hit pit road because I was thinking this race is going to be out on a two-stop race. So I was thinking pit road would open up around lap 30, and what do you know? Here we are coming down pit road. I would expect in the next 5 laps, most of the drivers to be getting their pit stops done.
Yeah, the driver's going to be having a 90% fuel load and also having 3 sets of tires into pit road. So, you know, two pit stops, not the worst decision, as you're still going to be having a set to work with if a late caution comes out. As we continue to watch and see the battle for 5th place, drivers now try to force it out of 3 wide, but Glass not able to get close enough in that Pepsi machine.
Yeah, what a look he took there for the minute there, thinking maybe he could get it done. But Trey Jackson, Christopher Wade battling for a top 5 spot. 2 drivers really looking for a good run, especially Christopher Wade looking for that win to lock himself into the Final 4, but loses that spot to Trey Jackson here as Nate Lynch comes back up onto the racetrack here from his pit stop. We'll see who else elects to come down here in the next few laps. I think you don't want to wait too long, but Dylan Grimm, he may look to stretch it here a little bit farther and get a little bit of an advantage on them tires.
Yeah, and also want to give note of more drivers into pit road. That is Jason Metcalf, Brian Lynch, and Max Ward all have now come in on this last lap, and I'll be getting on back onto the track surface. And for all the drivers that are further back that just came to pit road, all a lap down. So got to be concerned if the yellow comes out, being trapped a lap down and having to take a wave around, as you saw there, of Metcalf getting back into the throttle and getting back on track. As up front, it's that of Dylan Grimm. 2.4, now 2.5 seconds ahead of Kyle McCoy, who's had a great resurgence for himself, moving up to 2nd place, as well as Nick Collins in 3rd. 4th is that of Scott Rickard. Other playoff drivers that we've seen, Chris Wade in 6th, Dylan Grimm's leading Glasses in 7th. Glass is not a playoff driver. Travis Butt is now up to 9th. Now Boyling's up to that of 10th position. And that of Derek Offerman, the first of our playoff drivers, come to pit road. And Offerman kind of did a similar thing where he decided to go off the books. Here's Zach, and it looks like he's doing it again, being one of our first drivers to come into pit road.
Yeah, definitely Offerman always want to offer us a different strategy for sure. So great stuff by him. We'll see how it works out for him as we go. I'm going to wonder, though, how far some of these guys are going to stretch it. With the fuel load being 90% like you brought up earlier, I would think, you know, these guys should most likely be able to do around 40 laps at most, I would say. So I would say here in the next 5 laps, you're going to have to pit for sure, but maybe some guys are looking to stretch it here, you know, to make that tire difference up here as you come back out on the track. You'll have fresher ones, but you are giving up time to everybody out there on the new tires.
Well, our second of our Elite 8 that are playoff drivers into pit road, it's Kyle Boyling in the 44 into pit road. Kyle McCoy has now told the field that he's coming into pit road over the mic, so expecting a lot of drivers, like you noted on Zach, gonna be seeing a lot of drivers coming into pit road here in the next 5 laps, and it about almost half the field have all come into pit road to get their first pit stop done.
And here comes our leader, Dylan Grimm, along with Kyle McCoy, Nick Holland, and the 05 of Scott Rickard. So our top 4 all going to elect to come down this time. I believe Trey Jackson also is going to come down. Along with him is Kim Campbell, and looks like maybe Mike Lynch in the 2. Yes, also. So a lot of people hit pit road here on lap 35.
And now Travis Butt going to be trying to stay out, as he is currently our leader, trying to get a bonus point. But he also is going to be having those best of the tires. 00 in the 53 cars that decide to stay out currently.
Well, I figured this was going to be the game plan from Travis, but take it long here, see how far of a gap he can build up, and try to make it back up on the new tires. We'll see what it works out for him, but it looks like he's slowing down here in 3 and 4. Yeah, he's going to be coming down this time.
This time comes in the 00, and it's going to be Chris Wade deciding to stay out for an extra lap. And Wade, once again, one of our drivers that is in a must-win scenario, as drivers coming into pit road. No one has had any pit stop issues, but Zach, how hard is it getting into pit road for these drivers?
Oh, very, very difficult, especially this racetrack. And like I said earlier, it's very bumpy, but it's also one of the oldest surfaces. So not a lot of grip in the asphalt when you're coming down here, especially on these old tires where this track is so abrasive. The tires are very worn out and very hot, especially after that long run. It's something you have to be very conservative for. You know, if you're on fresher tires, you could really probably attack it, but you cannot take too many risks. And then even stopping in the pit box, that's, you think, oh, whatever, that's the easy part. You're already slowed down and doing pit road speed, but it's not. Those pit boxes are concrete and they do not have grip at all. You'll slide right through, and that's a quick 3 or 4 seconds you can lose right there on pit road. And that could be the difference between you getting into the Final Four or sitting at home next week at Homestead.
And especially with the fact that we have still stayed green for over 38 laps, coming to the start of 39. Once we see that of Chris Wade come across and hit the next lap, but we only have 4 drivers that still have not come to pit road. Chris Wade, Patrick Hasty, Brian Chu, as well as that of George Kovacic. Still our front 4 need to come to pit road. And Zach, this is when things get tricky, is when you've got drivers on those fresher tires. Could be get poisoning a threat for some of our front runners that still need to come to pit road, as if they got a driver underneath them, they might not be able to come into pit road.
Yeah, you're very right about that. It's all about the timing there. So if Christopher Wade, stretches it too far and, goes through the limit per se and has 1 lap for sure, and he can't get the pit road, he'll have issues. This is a 2-mile racetrack. If you run out of fuel and have to go an extra lap, you're going to be probably stranded somewhere around here on the back straightaway trying to get down the pit road. So not a good look. We'll see if Christopher Wade, Patrick Casey, Brian Chu, George Kovacic can get it down here before these cars run out. But like you said, it's all about timing, because guys coming on new tires are so much quicker. And even those old tires, if you're running up high like Christopher Wade there, it's hard to get down to the bottom.
I mean, Wade's staying out as long as he can. And there's some positives to the strategy, but there's also a lot of negatives, as Wade has already let most of the field run 3 to 8 laps of green flag laps with fresher tires. That's meaning that the 53 is losing a lot of time, currently losing almost 3 seconds against the rest of the field as it continues to stay out. And Zach, you're not gaining any time by staying out, you're just losing.
You definitely are. Right now, the only thing he can hope for is a caution, and that's going to be what he's probably banking on, and that would put him in a good spot. Everybody would already have used up a set of tires. They would most likely have to use another set just to take that gamble, and he would be sitting in a lot better position if there was later cautions. But yeah, this is a interesting strategy. Maybe he's felt like, I'm not going to have the pace to go up there and get the win. I got to do something outside the box, and I got to applaud him for trying something here different.
Yeah, I mean, Christopher Wade qualified in 15th position, moved up to 7th, and kind of just settled in that 6th and 7th position for most of the run. He had a lot of draft help where he was staying behind somebody, and I think right now we're seeing that maybe that drafting allowed the 53. Yes, the drafting allows you to save fuel, but I think it allowed him to save way more than some of the drivers were expecting the 53 to have, as still staying out for another lap. For that of the start of lap 42 is for that of Christopher Wade. I mean, it might be crazy to think this, Zach, but could Wade potentially be trying to save to get to that halfway mark?
Sam, that's exactly what was coming to my brain next, because this long now, it's kind of, he's given up way too much time, and his lap times have slowed down even way more dramatic than what they've been the last few laps. So I'm starting to think maybe he is starting to save it a little bit here in this 53, but just with a 90% fuel load to go 50 laps, I would be so amazed. And I think he's coming down this time. So most likely 42 laps, 43 laps, the most you're going to be able to get out of one tank of fuel here tonight.
It was a valiant effort, got out there and now into pit road, but lost a lot of time. And for that, Christopher Wade has to be hoping that he does not get trapped a lap down, as Dylan Grimm, the front runner, and now going to be making the pass for getting the lead, is the 23, and right back to where he was. But behind him is the 7, Kyle McCoy, the driver that's been on fire since the playoffs started. He's won the last 3 races and has swept the round of 12, now trying to sweep the round of 8. Kyle McCoy in second, pressuring Dylan Grimm.
Oh, this is what Grimm did not want to see. The driver who has just been on fire each and every week during these playoffs. And you can see the lap times difference between our top 2 drivers now as it cycled through. McCoy really, he drove way from the back to the front there during that full run there. Maybe this time pushing a little bit harder earlier in the go in here is putting a little pressure on Dylan Grimm, but they both pitted on the same lap there. So great job by McCoy to really gain 2.5 seconds that Grimm had over them when they came down pit road.
It's incredible to see, and as the racing continues to race on, I gotta say, I mean, for Dylan Grimm, he wants to get this win. It would help him so much. Instead of worrying about, hey, where's that of Travis Butt, as Butt's currently back in 12th. For Dylan Grimm, 7th in points coming into this race. He's got the bonus point of leading the lap, trying to get the 3 bonus points for leading the most laps. And if he somehow gets past and just finishes in second place, it's not a terrible thing because he'll be getting 55 points for just his positioning on top of those bonus points. And Zach, I noted on earlier in the broadcast, the point system very different from what a usual point system is because the winner gets 60 points just for winning, but if a playoff driver wins, they're locked into the championship race. But from second down to 15, each position is a 2-point difference, meaning hey, you can gain a lot of points just by being 2-3 positions ahead of someone else, but it's 15th on back in positioning where you only gain 1 point on that driver. So you got to be careful that you're not 15th on back or you're not gaining as much points as you could be potentially.
Yeah, you're very right about that, Sam. And the one thing I'm looking at is, like you said, you brought up about Grimm. He's really not in a must-win scenario because if he finishes second, technically, with the points and bonus points he's already got so far in this race, he should be that Final Four driver in that playoff spot due to points. But the big thing that he's got to worry about the most is the 68 and Nick Holland. 1 point in between those two here tonight. Now he has had those bonus points to allow him to spread that, or actually overtake Nick Holland where they sat at in points with bonus points. So he's looking good right now, but at the same time, if you give Nick Holland just that little bit of something to drive down and have that, hope in his mind, I just got to get by that 23, then we could be looking at a showdown. But we also can't forget about Travis Butt. We've seen him driving up through. He's in the 11th position now. If he can drive himself farther up through the field and get himself into the top 4, top 5 by the end of this, we could be looking at a very close points finish if Kyle McCoy ends up winning this race.
Hey, it was extremely close coming into the race. Why not make it extremely close at the end of Auto Club as drivers all trying to gain up onto one another? And it has been great to see Travis Butt back in 11th, and he fell back to 19th at the start of the race. We'll see how much he wants to try to save or get aggressive here currently, as Travis is about 10.5 seconds back, but he was that bubble driver. He was 4th in points coming into today. Needs to get more points and positions on the drivers ahead of them. As we're getting closer to halfway, we're going to step aside to Nonstop here on Freaky Fast. Thank you for joining us here tonight for the Stars and Stripes Xfinity Series. More racing action as we come back from this commercial break. Freaky Fast Broadcasting is presented by that of ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing, as well as McConey Setup Shops. They're our setups, but they're your victories. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Stars and Stripes Xfinity Racing, playoff racing. It's the final race of the round of 8 to see which 4 drivers are racing for a championship. And right now, we've been keeping our eyes out on the drivers that were inside and now might be looking outside, as that of Travis Butt, Kyle Boiling, both in 8th and 9th position, but the drivers that are trying to point their way in or potentially win their way into the next round, they're up front, running well. My name is Sam Zire. With me is Zach Hall. As well, running productions is Robert Moyer Jr. And Zach, we were talking about it, that of Travis Butt and Kyle Boiling. They're not in the best. Yes, they're running well. They're in the top 10, but they got to be concerned of being too far back from our front runners.
Oh yes, definitely. So Travis Butt has got to be thinking he's driving for everything he owns right now, because Dylan Grimm in the lead of those of this position right here. He really is in a long shot to get those points. Going to have to really gain on Kyle Bowling here, who luckily for him came in here set on the pole and at least led a lap, so he does have some bonus points to help that 12-point gap he had here entering tonight. So right now I think he's still in a good spot, but he cannot drop back too much farther, because we know 2 points per position there up in this field right here at the front of the field. So he's really got to be thinking about that and staying around that top 10 to top 9 area.
Oh, and you see the 3 drivers behind Butt all drop down together, trying to utilize super speedway tactics here at Auto Club, utilizing the draft with these long straightaways. The draft is a major factor to try to gain time. You see that of Dylan Glass, the 44 Boiling, who's in the middle, as well as that of Ken Campbell, all in line, working with one another. And looking at this field and all the drivers, we're coming closer and closer to the end of the season. We've only got tonight at Auto Club and Homestead next week. I mean, what a season it's been for a lot of these drivers that are in the playoffs as well as no longer in the playoffs. Ken Campbell, one of those drivers that's really had so close to be moving on to the next round. Missed out on the race at Atlanta, was in a must-win scenario at Bristol. Just could not get the win done for this 15 team, but hey, still a very solid season for himself. 5 top 5, 9 top 10s as caution flag waves. Jason Metcalf back in 18th, looks to be the wreck. And oh no, Zach, this changes everything.
That it does. I think Travis Butt is going to be the one that's celebrating that the most. Maybe even Kyle Bowling, and he's 11 seconds back. But yeah, unfortunate incident here we're going to see.
See there, contact from Trey Jackson as well, as Jason Metcalf out of turn number 4 gets the 35 out of control and slipping and sliding, trying to hold on. And that's what brings out our yellow here tonight. And both drivers of the 31 and 35, they are still arguing over that contact. And, whew, interesting.
Yeah, definitely some interesting thoughts there for these guys. But yeah, some contact there between the 31 and the 35 here, as you'll see in 3 and 4. And that's just unfortunate for those two there who are having a good battle. But really, just the 31 come just a hair as the 35 is trying to keep them on the bottom. And, the track's exiting up high. So, one driver wants the other driver to go higher. The other driver is trying to hold them down there to not make their exit as well. And that's what you have happen when you're hard racing like that.
Yeah, very hard racing. And now drivers getting themselves situated. And I think what the most interesting fact of all of it is, yes, we've got a spinning out 35. But I believe that a Metcalf just wasn't going to cause any carnage, as continue to see him slipping and sliding here. And as we see the replay, all drivers into pit road getting service done currently here, Zach, which this could be the second of the 3 tire sets the drivers were given here that these guys might be using here.
Well, I tell you what, too, Sam, this could be to the end of the race here, too. This could be the final pit stop. We've seen Christopher Wade take it 42, almost 43 laps. Right now, we're within that window to get it done. This could be the money stop here, as Dylan Grimm's going to win the race off, but we could see them go for the longest distance of the race here.
This caution we noted on some drivers that really didn't want to see this caution come out, such as Dylan Grimm, Kyle McCoy, and Nick Holland. All three of those drivers were just so checked out from the rest of the field. They weren't thinking about anyone else, but this gives another breath of life to Derek Offerman, as well as that of Travis Butt and Kyle Boylan that we were just talking about. They were so far back, it looked like their chances for then moving on to our championship 4 were snuffed out. Well, they're back into this, as well as Chris Wade, but Wade's going to be back in the middle of the field. A lot of work for the 53 team to try to get back up into the top 5.
Yeah, this is pretty much a big reset for the race, right after halfway getting this caution. A lot of drivers feeling probably pretty confident about this, but like you brought up, Derek Hoffman, he's got to feel great. He did the big undercut, got himself back up there after getting that damage. You got to remember, he got into the wall early in the going, had a lot of damage, and that really made him suffer. He took that fast repair, so not going to have a fast repair in this final going of 40 laps here. But I tell you what, that 20 is going to look to be a lot quicker, and this reset's going to help him with the tire, differences between the field here as everybody's on the same tires now.
Well, we look at the points coming into today's race. We already knew Kyle McCoy, the 7 was locked in based off his win that he got last week at Darlington. Then we looked at the points and the amount of points the drivers needed to gain on one another. Not enough drivers showing up here tonight. So Scott Rickard, based off of points, is now going to be moving on to the next round. So only 2 spots are open. Coming into this race, it was Travis Butt, Kyle Boylan that were inside of the top 4. Well, you've got 3, actually I could say 4 Hungary drivers. Derek Offerman, Nick Holland, Dylan Grimm. They can point their way into the next round. Chris Wade is our only must-win to get in driving.
Oh, it's definitely getting to the point here where it's now or never for these guys. You're going to see probably some more aggressive moves now. We got them all reset back and re-racked up together. You're going to see guys really going for it, trying to get the clean air. I expect Nick Holland here to really take a big chance here and try to get this win and try to take it away from Dylan Graham, who's been very, very lights out so far once getting the lead.
Dylan Grimm, Kyle McCoy, Nick Holland, Scott Rickard, as well as that of Derek Offerman in your top 5. Travis Butt, Nick, that of Nate Lynch, Dylan Glass, Kyle Boylan, Ken Campbell, your top 10. Pace car is off. And you see Barney the flag man ready to wave. Green flag in the air as it is time to go. Dylan Grimm already on the loud pedal, and he is taking off. As Nick Holland trying to keep it a little bit mixy here, side by side for a second as they go into turn number 1.
Nice run for Holland onto the inside of McCoy. Here comes Rickard also in the 05. It looks like Holland going to get the pass done on both of them as he's going to shut the door on the 7 of Kyle McCoy, take over that second spot as the field continues to race throughout the field here.
And we had that long green flag run because everyone was spaced out. We're right on top of one another again. The potential shot of a caution, breeding another caution, is high. Up front, the 68 making the charge. Up front, but contact going to be made. Ward, others, contact, hard wreck, and yellow waves out of 4.
Oh no, cautions, precautions, and we got another incident there involving Patrick Hasty and the 53 of Max, or the 59 there, Max Ward. Hard contact though on the front straightaway by that pit wall.
I was interested because I initially saw in our information the 2 was falling back quickly, but this was contact afterwards. You saw the 2, that of Mike Lynch falling back after getting to the outside wall, and Hasty getting loose, contact by Aaron Hale into Ward, and there they all go. And you see that of Travis Dart, nowhere to go, and just plows into the 9 machine, losing his front clip and plenty of damage. And Kovacic as well, just coming in, nowhere to go for that of the 65. Kovacic's incident, though, it looked like he might have been still on the brakes and just couldn't get off of them and just ran right into the carnage.
Yeah, that was a really unfortunate incident there after the whole contact between the 4 and the 9 there. Really, guys really not able to get slowed up. And you can see here as we'll look at another view from Kovacic's view of the 65. He's going to see it all happening from him, trying to get slowed down here and just really have nowhere to go as he thinks the car's going up the track now. As he gets spun around like a top, he's going to have nowhere to go. And man, unfortunate, heavy contact for a lot of guys, hurting a lot of their front ends here.
I'll go high, I'll go low, oh no, and I'm stuck in the middle, right where the car is. And and it's one of those things where you're just hoping that the car in front of you sometimes will just you get those gifts, right? Where the seats just part and you got a clean space. That time did not work out for Kovacic. Went into pit road and multiple drivers still getting damage repairs. Max Ward, Patrick Hasty, and that of George Kovacic all still getting repairs done. But the rest of the field up front, and the question of do you want to come into pit road? Most likely, a lot of these front runners not going to be coming in after just coming into the pit road during that last caution break.
Yeah, they do not want to waste that last set of tires. They, from what they see now, we have 2 yellows in a row. You definitely are saying, well, I want to at least save those tires. I'd say for at least around 20 to go. That's as late, maybe as early as I want to pit too. So a lot of decisions to still be made. If this thing has some more yellows, it's going to be a strategy-filled one, I'm for sure. And that strategy could be the one that makes or breaks your race. We've seen it before with tire limits. It's all about timing those stops.
And I said that cautions breed cautions. Well, we're going to reset them once again. And Zach, this is the playoff hopes for a lot of these drivers now. Who is going to race for a championship? And we know the aggression level is only going to ramp up from here. Nick Holland on that restart almost completely drove through Dylan Grimm's rear bumper, but found enough space to move high. There is a certain aggression that is starting to bubble up in our front playoff drivers that know they will most likely, with the fact that Travis Butt as well as Scott Bowling are back in a mix, some of these drivers feel like a win is the only way that they're going to be moving on to the next round.
No, you're very right about that, Sam, and that's where you're going to see some moves out of desperation. And people know that window is closing for them to get into that Final Four. 2 slots already taken up by Scott Rickard and Kyle McCoy, and only 2 spots available. It's a tough situation to be in right now if you're Kyle Bolin sitting back in that 10th spot. He's trying to calculate the math in his head. We heard from him last week. He said he's just going to go out there and race his race and not worry about how the points are. But I tell you what, I'd have to be thinking he's still thinking about those points right now, running in 10th after starting on pole.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that the week prior, but when you have a full week to think of, okay, what do I need to do? Where I need to be placing myself? And then you actually get onto the track. I mean, yeah, points, you might say the week prior, not really a factor. But when the race day comes, it is almost all that you're thinking about as well as getting the win. As we're going to restack him and try this again, it's Dylan Grimm, Nick Holland, Kyle McCoy, Scott Rickard, and Derek Offerman, your top 5. Pace car is off, and we get to try another restart here as Dylan Grimm waits for the green flag to wave. Green flag in the air, and there goes that 23 once again.
Great start again from Dylan Grimm. They're able to get a couple car lengths gap back to Nick Holland, who now has McCoy to his inside. Holland was able to take the spot from McCoy in the last restart. We'll see if McCoy can take it back from Holland. Well, Holland fighting really hard here, and I expect him to be super aggressive, knowing that this is his time if he wants to get into the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, you got drivers that are in desperation because they want to get a win, as here comes Nick Holland to the inside, the 68. Great launch out of turn 2. Beautiful drafting work, and now clear to slide up. It's that of Nick Holland up front, but will he lead this lap as here comes the crossover move from Dylan Grimm?
Oh, man, side by side, these two making contact on the front straightaway. Oh, that could have been detrimental to both the races. Great save from Nick Holland in the 23 of Grimm here as they continue fighting on.
And Grimm led that lap even with the door banging, and both drivers both needing to either get a win or at least finish in the top 3, and that door bang's not helping him because it's giving the options. Kyle McCoy, the driver that looked like he might have been snuffed out early, Derek Offerman, Scott Rickard, both racing side by side for 4th place.
Oh, man, Offerman really trying to make a big run up here, too. It's making the points battle even closer with him climbing up the board. This is going to be one for the ages, ladies and gentlemen. As Holland again tries something. As Rickard goes to the bottom, we're going to be 3 wide here for 3rd between McCoy, Offerman, and Rickard.
Not talking about the desperation of the drivers that don't feel that pressure and are just racing for a win. Scott Rickard, Kyle McCoy, they can throw everything out knowing, hey, if we get wrecked out, it's okay. We're still racing for a championship, but the 3 drivers in front of them all trying to figure out who's going to be getting that final 2 positions, as all 3 are all came into this race outside of the top 4.
And Offerman shoots to the bottom there. What a drive to the bottom right there to the white line. He almost gets to the inside of the 68 as the 23-68 continue to battle. Dude, Holland threw such a big block there. This right here is turned into some aggressive driving. This could end up in tears, everybody.
Yeah, and the throwing out, right, of this that could have been the final stop the last time that they came in 9 laps ago. And with this aggressive racing, I mean, Zach, they're not saving their tires. They're just gunning out here to gain every position in this moment. It's big picture, though. How was this going to be hurting you later on in the run?
Oh, I think this is going to be very, very harsh to their tires. Right now, Grimm, he sees to get the lead and try to back up the corners here as much as possible. He gets a little bit loose. This is going to open the door for Offerman off the corner. It's even Holland going to get to the back bumper of the 23. These 3 up front all looking to win and get themselves into that Final 4.
Our top 5 all playoff racers, but don't look now. Dylan Glass, the 16 Pepsi machine. He might be trying to throw his hat into the mix as it's Derek Offerman on the inside, poking his nose, leading for now. But watch out for the run that's going to come out of the exit of the corner. Here comes Dylan Grimm, who's going to go with crossover move.
Oh, man, with these guys closing the door on each other like that, this could end up very bad. And, man, this racing's great. I love it. But I tell you what, the frustration level and the adrenaline is definitely pumping for these drivers right now as they know this is their season on the line if they want to fight for a championship next week.
We're just coming to lap 70. 31 laps still to be ran here as the drivers are slashing back and forth. Hard blocks being made. Grimm onto Holland. And like we noted on, these top 3 all were outside of the top 4 looking in. They needed a solid run for themselves. And the 2 drivers that can be pointed out, that being Travis Butt, Kyle Boylan, they're back in 8th and 9th. But I got to say, they're in prime spots. Just let these guys race and you'll catch up to them quickly.
No, you're very right about that, Sam. I think Travis Butt, we've seen how good he's doing in the long run, saving his tires, is now Holland's going to try to go by again, Grimm again for the 2nd spot as Offerman tries to drive off into the sunset. Butt's really here in a good spot. It's almost contact between those 2 as we look for the back deck of the 20. The 68 almost closing the door on the 23. That could have been huge. This race here is getting super spicy.
And remember as well, Nick Holland, Dylan Grimm, they did make contact earlier in this run. So both drivers need to be careful not to get any more damage. Otherwise, they could be going backwards quickly as Kyle McCoy, Scott Ricker just fading and staying in line, not really trying to force the issue. I think everyone's recognizing, hey, let's just watch the battle that our front 3 are having. Let them, if they wreck themselves out of this thing, we'll come fighting in the final 20 laps of this race.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's played out. They're just sitting there waiting for something to go down. No reason for them to have to push right now and get to the lead like Offerman did there, who has really got that half-second gap built up over these drivers. But how much damage has it done to the tires? That's the big thing we're all questioning ourselves. And how is the points going to play out? Travis Butt drives up there to some good spots, and these drivers drop out of the winning position. The points could go in Travis Butt and Kyle Bowling's favor. We'll have to see. Cannot let Kyle McCoy or Scott Ricker get up there or Dylan Glass and take the win away from him.
Ricker as well as Kyle McCoy, both just racing to get wins. Currently, Kyle McCoy has the most wins out of everyone with 5. And then tied for 2nd is Travis Butt and Scott Rickard, both with 4. It is extremely close between those 3 drivers on who's going to be the driver to watch out for. But potentially, if Travis Butt gets into any issues with a 0-0, could find ourselves one of our most winningest drivers of the season being pushed out and not racing for a championship. Same thing goes to Nick Holland. He's got 3 wins, but those 3 wins were in the beginning of the season, weeks 5 through 7. It was a 3-race winning streak for Nick Holland. Since then, he's been struggling to do well. The 0-0 has to be fine. That 68 needs to find some speed here as Travis Butt, he's starting to ramp up. I think he's recognizing, hey, my tires are starting to kick in. I'm a little bit better than everyone else in front of me.
Yeah, not giving up that 9.5 second gap this time. Going to be able to be a little bit closer to see if he could do anything with the fresher tires here that he's trying to save riding back in this line. He's actually probably liking the scenario right now, how it played out. He got that caution, able to get him back up here and have a shot at this, as actually Dylan Grimm and Nick Holland, man, they are battling so hard for second, side drafting each other, slowing each other down right now, and really hurting each other's tires. Offerman's got to like this out front, but the drivers who like it even more are Kyle McCoy, Scott Ricker there, who've kind of just been riding, waiting for something to happen between these top three.
How aggressive. There's been a lot of pinching from that of Nick Holland on the outside in the 68. Dylan Grimm getting right on the white line in the center of the corner. That just is meaning the potential of Dylan Grimm. If he touches the apron at any moment, he could shoot up and take out both drivers. And Kyle McCoy, Scott Rickard, they're all still on top of this. If one of these drivers make contact and wreck, hey, the 7 and the 05, they're not in safe places either.
And oh man, the 68 of Holland, he drove it in so hard through the middle there to get to the quarter panel. The 23 almost didn't get to run off the corner like he wanted, but he has the help of Kyle McCoy, who pushed him down the back straightaway. Now dead even heat, and you can see that outside lane is just so strong. Grimm's going to let it really get a good run there actually off that bottom. He was very patient, and right now pulls the nose ahead. Can he slide up ahead of him is going to be the key, but the help up top with that draft is just too crucial.
Major kudos to that of Dylan Grimm. We saw earlier in this race how if you were on the inside lane, you didn't have any draft help, you were dropping back quickly. Well, now we're starting to see drivers trying to get mixy here as we're on board with the nose cam of Kyle McCoy of the 7. He's bobbing up and down, was thinking about forcing it 3 wide, but just going to be trying to give a little bit of a bump and tries to cut down low. Luckily, Scott Rickard given space because the 7 almost saw his rear bumper being spun around in just a blink of an eye.
Oh man, he is lucky Scott Rickard lipped right there, because man, he would have totally spun himself right there as the 05 lets him in, and that was as close to being clear as possible. And McCoy took the chance that he knew he had to do if he's going to get around the 68. He'd be able to go challenge for another win up here, as he's just chasing victories at this point. He's going to have to get by the 68, who's starting to struggle. I think he pushed so hard in this early going to get out front. Right now, Holland doing everything in his power to hold on to the 3rd spot, just in case we get another caution or something happens between the top 2 if they start the battle.
Yeah, right now, doing some quick math, checking out on where drivers are at based off of also bonus points on where drivers are at currently. Where if the race finished now, Dylan Grimm would have the most laps led and would get a 3-point bonus on top of as well 1 lap being led, as good man Glass is also trying to figure out where to place himself. But where the drivers lie at the moment, Travis Butt in a position where he actually could be bumped out of our final 4. Kyle Boylan, though, he is currently in 9th place and running just good enough where he could possibly still be staying and not being knocked out at all, because he's got enough points with getting the pole position and leading a lap. Those 3 bonus points, massive for the 44 to still be in contention by about 2 points. He cannot lose another position.
Oh man, Scott Ricker there at the big move in the 05 down there to clear the 68. Nick Holland, who continues to drop back. It looks like Holland really upset those tires as the field's trying to run off from down. There's Travis Butt. He's got past, it looks like he got past King Campbell there to get up to 7th now, as Holland dropping back to 6th. Dylan Glass up to 5th. We'll see what Travis Butt can do. He's going to have to be most likely in a must-win scenario here with Offerman and Grimm where they're at. He's got to go up there and get this win if he wants to get himself in.
Yeah, especially with where Offerman's at. Offerman, if he wins, I mean, he was just needed to be 1 point ahead of Travis Butt coming into today's race. That's all he needed was 1 position, and he's done that. He's in the lead position, which would mean for Dylan Grimm, that of as well as Nick Holland, Travis Butt, they all need to start moving forward, because the 44, he has now made a stable spot in 9th position, which is just good enough points-wise for himself, I believe, where he's at. Is up front, still a lot of side-by-side, but moving forward.
That he is still challenging there with Nick Holland, trying to get past that 68 as that 00. He knows it's slipping away for him also here in the late going with 21 to go. He needs every position possible there. Wasn't able to get it done. Lost that position there, sliding back after that bottom lane. We just see how tough it is to pass. And Holland, you know, he's going to be defensive here. He needs to hold on to every position possible, because if we get a caution and re-rack him, we've seen how crazy the first couple laps of a run are. If we get a short run to the end, it's anybody's game and who can just navigate the traffic.
Zach, we touched on it. The drivers should be good to make it, but we also, that was when the drivers, that of Chris Wade, was saving fuel, it looked like, in the end stages of that run. We have not been seeing drivers saving fuel. It has been all go from the start of this last restart and very hard racing. Derek Offerman up front, but if he's a lead driver, how much fuel? He's not saving any fuel, but for everyone else behind, they're hard racing as well. It's going to be extremely close on how this race is going to come to the end if we stay green all the way to the end.
No, for sure. This will make it a very interesting run here for us. You know, like we said, most likely Chris Wade had to save fuel to get there as we look at him in the 11th spot actually right now. So he's still in that must-win spot. He needs to make it, but you know, right now, we got 3 wide actually. Dylan Glass, Nick Holland, Travis Butt up here, and this could be almost contact. Double zero, slides and saves it. Oh man, Glass slided up into the racetrack, into him is Holland now. He's gonna slide up to almost contact between him and the double zero. More and more stuff, and this is let Bowling come into the picture, see if he can get a few more spots. That'll help him out points wise. I think they're good to go fuel with that caution, but it could still be very, very close.
And you can see Nick Holland, he is struggling right now on the inside. Watch out when he comes out of the corner. Yes, you naturally move up, but it just seems like the 68 a little bit more tighter than everyone else. And Zach, that contact between Butt as well as the drivers earlier with Dylan Grimm, it might be now hindering the 68 here.
It very well could be a little bit of door banging here tonight, definitely, as that can definitely slow the cars down on the straights. Doesn't look like he has much damage, but he definitely does have some scrapes on the doors, so that definitely has bit probably something up there a little bit. He's still trying to fight hard, side drafting that double zero. You know, Travis Butt say, just let me go. But you cannot do that. This is hard playoff racing, and these guys are going for everything here with 18 to go. Still everything on the table, all 4 of these drivers. We got plenty of time still to drive up there, but if you're going to get it done, Travis Butt has to get it done now as he's finally passed Nick Holland into the top 5.
And into the top 5 is double zero, but he is about 0.8 seconds away from 4th place. And Zach, the draft, yes, you got a little bit of a nip of it when you're this far back, but it's a lot more when you're about 6/10 or closer when the draft really kicks in for these drivers. For Butt, I mean, he's got a little bit of damage, but we're also, with 17 laps, it seems like a lot here at Auto Club, but with being so far back from our leader, it seems like it's a little bit might be too far out of reach for the double zero.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be a tough amount of gap to really make up for Travis, but we'll see how well he can start the inroads here in the next few laps. He's got a little bit of clean air, you know, definitely still got somewhat of a draft up there, but definitely got the cleaner air of the drivers compared to those 3 right there in line. We'll see what he can do as that time by right there, about 2/10 quicker than our leader. So if he keeps doing that, he can get up there in 16 laps, but as you get closer, we always talk about that dirty air. It stalls you out more and more. And with 16 to go, Offerman's hoping that's what's going to help him stay out front, is this nice clean air on this 20's nose and holding on to this gap. If he gets it done, he will lock himself into that race at Homestead. And I tell you what a way to get your win here, to lock yourself in. That would be amazing for the 20 to come back after that damage. But right there, losing a lot of time off of 4. Grimm really starting to close that gap. That was about 0.2 of a second right there off of that last quarter.
Yeah, and that time is just going to add up as Dylan Grimm, 0.2 was better on that last lap and running low, but don't look now. Kyle McCoy, Scott Rickard, both keeping it close, but if the race ended now, our final 4 would be already the winner of Kyle McCoy, who won earlier, actually won last week at Darlington, that locked him into our championship 4 race. Scott Rickard with enough points locked himself in as well. But with Derek Offerman, if he wins this race, he'll be locked in. Cowboiling 8th place is just enough points for that of the 44 to be locked in as well based on points, but by the slimmest of margins. And because of Dylan Glass's mix up and make contact, as well as other drivers racing so hard, the 44 is looking poised to be gaining more positions, which that's going to be putting Travis Butt and also Dylan Grimm in a position where they need to race Offerman, and it might be a driver needs to win to move on to the next round.
Oh, and it's closing up. Here's a right on board McCoy. You can see Grimm, he's closed up to the back bumper almost of the 20, within 2 car lengths of the 20 of Derek Offerman. 14 to go, going to be coming to 13 to go. Like you said, Bowling, he's still trying to get past King Campbell back there as they race side by side. That'll be 7th for him. That'll give him another 2 points to help broaden that gap. But this is going to be probably the race for that last spot into the playoffs. Grimm showing so much pace here, able to drive to the back bumper. What will Derek Offerman do to hold this lead off? That is going to be the true question, Sam. I think he is not going to give this one up without a major, major fight.
And also, Zach, I mean, this is going to be a different battle than what we saw just about 15 laps ago. There's a lot more tire wear that these drivers have from that earlier battles where they were side by side, 3-4 wide there. And now it's got to be patience for Dylan Grimm, but he is caught up, as well as now Kyle McCoy's gotten into the mix, but Travis Butt's up to 5th, and he's starting to close in the gap a little bit more each lap. It's that of the 00 as well as the 68. Currently on that last lap, some of the fastest cars on track is the drivers in 5th and 6th position.
I tell you what, this is going to be one of the best finishes we've seen. Probably 12 to go. Grimm's really starting to get the good run on Offerman. If he doesn't get this done quickly, though, he's got to worry about McCoy. And not only that, but like you said, Travis Butt's coming into the picture. Also the 00. He needs everything. Here comes the battle down to 3.
Dylan Grimm going to be going to the inside, trying to get in all the positions that he can possibly here. As with that of Derek Offerman leading a lap, this is now, and being up front, the 20, if he drops back to 2nd and Grimm wins, this actually will be bumping out both Travis Butt and Kyle Boylan. So this has complete alternating shifts on where drivers lie, as now Grimm trying to secure this pass. But what could also change everything up here, Zach, is if a driver that is already locked in, such as Kyle McCoy, if he gets a win or a non-playoff driver wins, that could also change everything here at the end.
That it really could. Here comes Kyle McCoy, 11 to go. Offerman knows he's got to be able to stay within reach of this 23 here, as he was able to make the nice clean pass, and he pulled that off perfectly with the side draft off of 4. Here comes the 7, maybe a similar pass here for that 7 machine. Grimm's going to try to drive away because he needs to go out here and get the victory. He cannot worry about these two battling, but it's going to be awesome to see who can pull this off.
10 laps to go, a chance to battle for a championship. Season 3 of the Stars and Stripes Championship. Who could get it? We already know 2 of our drivers are locked in. Former champion of Season 1, Kyle McCoy, as well as Season 2 champion, Scott Rickard. Both are locked in, and now the question is who's going to be those other 2 drivers. As we see there, Scott Rickard as well as Travis Butt, the battle for 4th place. They're closing in on the battle for our lead. Our top 5, all less than a second off of one another.
And what a race it's been. And you got to commend Dylan Grimm. We said he could be the question marks during these playoffs. We don't know what he was going to bring week in and week out. And right now, he's brought the speed to possibly get out here and win as Travis Butt takes over 4th from Scott Rickard. He's trying to go up here and get that win with 9 to go. But Dylan Grimm, only 3 top 5s in tonight. What a night it would be to get his 2nd win if he can get it done, Sam.
Travis Butt needs to make sure that he is ahead of that of Derek Offerman, and that's it. That's all he needs to do. Just be ahead of the 20, and then as well, hope for Kyle McCoy to win this race, and the 00 could be making it to the next round. A lot of points shuffling going on, but man, Dylan Grimm, he's also going to be banking on the fact that his internet holds on, because this is going to be crazy if Grimm's internet somehow blinks him out of this race.
Oh, that would be a tragic story. And, we also got to think about Kyle McCoy here. Who is his teammate? That is Travis Butt. So if he gets a shot here to get past this 23, it's going to be everything in the power of that 7 to get this done. Can he get close enough is going to be the big question. But, man, I tell you what, do you jeopardize, getting the pass on somebody, just a little bit of a roughing somebody up just a little bit here in the next to last race, and it hurts maybe your chances at Homestead next week where that driver races you maybe a little bit hard? We'll have to see, because right now Travis Butt, he's closing it on Offerman, and he's making the points much more compelling for him.
Derek Offerman has to stay in front of Travis Butt if he wants a shot to race for a championship, but he's got to make sure he can gain just a couple of more holding off for 7 more laps, but you can just see Travis Butt. He can get back into the throttle so much sooner, and there goes the double zero off the corner, and now he's got to race and try to catch up to the 7 in the 23.
What a move from Travis Butt, able to pull him back with the side draft in the center of the corner, get the run off the corner. What a move from Travis Butt. Up the third now. It's going to be all about his teammate, though. I don't think he's got enough time to go up there and get the lead, but if his teammate Kyle McCoy can go up there and grab this win, it will put him back in position here, Sam. This is setting up very, very interesting. Everybody in Mr. Butt's class is on the edge of their seat, probably.
Absolutely, and you see the difference from our front two, that of Dylan Grimm and Kyle McCoy. McCoy, if he gets a win, it gives a chance for Travis Butt to point his way into the championship 4. But if Dylan Grimm wins, the shot of Travis Butt goes out the window, and it would be Kyle Boylan, who's in 9th place, that could be taking that position. We're going to have to bring out our calculators after this race is done, but certainly is going to be extremely close. Dylan Grimm up front, almost by a half a second now. We'll see on this next pass here on how this lap went, but Zach, it is super close. 5 laps to go. You see the times are coming in, and it's Grimm just barely keeping ahead of Kyle McCoy.
Yeah, it's so close lap time-wise between those two, even back to Travis Butt. I mean, it's hundredths of a second here in these final few laps. If I'm Dylan Grimm, I focus out the windshield. You see he's trying to break the draft. The draft is very, very important, but at the same time, it might throw him offline here on the entry, and if you miss the corner, that gives the chance for that 7 to close up even more. I would like to see a little bit more focusing out the windshield, but he is definitely in a scenario right now where most people would be freaking out.
End of the race, the cream of the crop starts to come up front. Our fastest drivers on track is our front 3. It's Dylan Grimm, Kyle McCoy, Travis Butt, all playoff runners and playoff implications with either one of our top 3 winning. If Dylan Grimm wins, what an underdog story coming into the playoffs, sneaking his way through the round of 12, then winning here, possibly to end the streak of Kyle McCoy, to move on to the final 4 and race for a championship. Hey, DoorDash is hoping for this victory.
That they are, and I tell you what, it's also getting a little spicy back there around 9th. Right now, Nate Lynch passing Ken Campbell for that 7th spot, but Kyle Bowling, he's trying to get by also Ken Campbell, but Aaron Hell, who's been charging up through in the 4 machine, and Christopher Wade have been closing up to the 44. He cannot afford to lose these spots.
Yeah, Kyle Boylan, if anything, needs to stay in 9th and 8th position. If he falls any further back, that actually can still give a shot for Derek Offerman to possibly point his way into the next round, or even Travis Butt still having a shot. Contact, blinking car, and it's going to be a spin. Yellow with 3 laps to go. Zach, we're going into overtime.
Oh, man, this just changed the whole complex of everything. I think that was Nate Lynch right there. Oh, man, and that was involving the 15 of Ken Campbell there, and just a little contact to the back, and oh, man.
Because Nate Lynch was blinking so much, we actually don't have the replay for it, but man.
I'm speechless, Sam.
But now's the gambling, right? And this is only a one-time attempt at overtime. We only have 1 attempt. You have to make the choice now. Do you come in for tires, or do you stay out? 40-lap-old tires, Zach, or do you get fresh rubber? Everyone still has a set left in pit road, but do you possibly risk it? Because you never know. A caution could end this race in overtime.
Oh, man, I mean, the 1 attempt is what you got to worry about. I would say it's a no-brainer if you had multiple. But, man, oh, man, 2 seconds of fall off there from our fastest times, what we're seeing. Sam, I'm telling you, I would not want to be in this position, and a lot of drivers are going to be making a lot of different decisions. Dylan Grimm, though, in the worst spot. Everybody's probably going to do the opposite of what he does. I
would come into pit road. Don't even risk it. Get those tires. If it's 2 seconds difference, you can go up to practically the wall and pass everybody. And that's why you're seeing everybody coming into pit road, recognizing that is too huge of an advantage. But Zach, we saw it earlier in the last restart. When everyone's got fresh tires, everyone feels like a hero that they can make a move for the win.
That they can, and this is going to be a critical entry into your pit stop. And Who gambles? Who takes 2 tires? Who does something off the wall here to get track position? We never know here till they come off pit road, but I think you're right about that. This was kind of a no-brainer at the same time with how wide this racetrack is. It gives you so much advantage to be able to get it done, but we'll see what kind of race we get off pit road here. It's going to be a green by checkers. Travis Butt looks like he is coming off first. I think he may roll the dice.
2 tires for Travis Butt, Kyle McCoy, and Nick Holland. Those are your front 3 getting out of pit road. Dylan Grimm came in as your leader. He'll come out in 5th place currently. Patrick Hasty did not come into pit road, but we're expecting the 9 to do so. But hey, he's still out there and taking his time out in the lead.
Man, Sam, this is definitely setting up for something very wild and spicy. So everybody go ahead and get the spicy emotes out, chat, because I tell you what, Travis Butt's in a good spot right now with him being in the lead. Well, not technically lead because Patrick Hasty's still out there. We'll see if he decides to come down this time. I mean, if he's got control, if the 00 does have control of the race restart here, it's going to be an interesting spot. We'll see if Hasty, what he decides here as we come down. Maybe that 9 going to stay out, so he will not have control. This is a big difference here. This sets it up very wild, man. I'm nervous.
Patrick Hasty. I mean, Zach, I mean, this is when things get absolutely, all my notes, they're thrown out the window, put them in the trash can. It doesn't matter because Patrick Hasty staying out, this changes everything because it means a non-playoff driver, a driver that hasn't really been a factor for a race win all season long, now is in the wild card spot on a 1 overtime attempt. We only got this 1 shot. This is going to be the final restart of the race. Who will be racing for a championship? We already know our 2. It's Kyle McCoy, Scott Rickard, but there's 2 more positions. Thick drivers want to get those 2 positions, but it all comes down to this restart, Zach. Oh, boy.
Yeah, man, this is what it's all going to come down to. First cars on tires, Dylan Grimm, or 4 tires, sorry, is Dylan Grimm and Derek Offerman in that 3rd row. But our other 4 drivers up front, Patrick Hasty, no tires there for him, but 2 tires for the next 3. I tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see how the cold tires react with the 2 tires. Ooh, I'm so ready to see how this plays out and hope everybody at home is ready to see what goes here in the final few laps.
Patrick Hasty, 0 wins, 0 poles, 0 top 5s, only 2 top 10s, is going to be our control car here for our final attempt at the California 200. Who's going to the championship 4? We get to find out here. Patrick Hasty, Travis Butt, Kyle McCoy, Nick Holland, Dylan Grimm, your top 5. Barney the Flagman's ready. Hopefully you are as well. Your last restart of the night on who's making it to the championship 4. Already changes being made. Nick Holland changed early in the going. That could be a penalty to the 68. We'll wait for the admins after this race, but we are green into turn number 1. It's Travis Butt in the lead, as well as Nick Holland following suit. Here comes that of Kyle McCoy, and already the 68 on the back bumper, trying to move the 00 as they're on the back stretch, Zach.
Oh, man, and here comes the 23 down the back stretch. Also 3 wide, Derek Offerman, Dylan Grimm up top. Here goes McCoy to the middle, but what does Holland do up front? I think he might get into the bumper here.
He's already on the bumper, and now here comes the 20 of Derek Offerman out at turn number 4. If they get the white flag, we race it to the end. But if a caution comes forward, then the race is over. They're 3 wide for second. Here comes Dylan Grimm on the outside. Offerman, all top 4 are drivers that are trying to make it into the final chances here. Zach, we're racing to the end. They're 3 wide for the lead.
Oh, man, 3 wide here. Offerman on the bottom, but up in the middle. And the
Contact.
23. Contact. Big run for Grimm, though. He takes the lead.
Grimm in the lead. It's Travis Butt. Here comes off that of Derek Offerman as well. Drivers that have not gotten a win. It's Derek Offerman, who is final shot to go for a championship run. Huge bump to the 00, who then moves up to that Dylan Grimm. Too much speed. Dylan Grimm. Here comes the 23 out of turn 4. Grimm, he'll make it for a championship race. Bring out the calculators. Who's going to be that final 4th driver? Congratulations, Dylan Grimm. The California 200 goes to Dylan Grimm. Oh my goodness, Zach.
Oh, man, and Kyle Bowling goes up to 6th in the late going, too. Oh, man, Sam, I think Bowling might hold on to it there. We're going to have to bring out the calculators like you said, but Grimm, Oh, he goes from 5th on that restart all the way to the lead. What a run around the top. I'm telling you what, one of the most wild finishes, and just you couldn't ask for a better finish to the championship four decider here at the Auto Club Speedway.
Absolutely spectacular, and you knew everyone was going to throw everything out there. Bumps and shoves were happening, and Derek Offerman threw everything out there, but it was Dylan Grimm on the outside. I said the outside lane, when he got tires, you're going to put yourself there. In the 23 DoorDash machine, he got the win at Indy on the final lap. Well, why not do it again here at Auto Club for a chance to race for a championship? We know three of them. It's Kyle McCoy, it's Dylan Grimm, both with wins. Scott Rickard based off points, and we wait for the confirmation on who will be that final driver moving forward. Oh my goodness, Zach. Spectacular racing as the 23 gets to burn it down. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we're going to talk to our top three. Disappointment might be in the air for Travis Butt, for Derek Offerman, but elation, joy goes to the 23. Dylan Grimm will be back in just a few to talk to our top three here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the post-race show of the Stars and Stripes Xfinity Series for the final race of the round of 8 to see who was going to race for a championship. And here tonight, it was spectacular. It was a long green flag run at the start of the race. Then we found ourselves into overtime late. And what's incredible to see, we didn't note on it once we went to a break, but our top 8 were our final 8 drivers that were in the playoffs. hunting to make it to our championship four. We'll get those official championship four for you, hopefully after these interviews. But until then, let's talk to our top three. First, going to that of Travis Butt and the double zero. Travis, it's Sam up the booth. You got me? Mr. Butt, you're up in the booth. You
I
got me?
hear. I got you.
All right. Well, Travis, we saw you have some odd strategies early on, but went into overtime. It was your last attempt to try to make it into our final four. Give us your thoughts there into overtime.
Yeah, I just tried to play it like a short track. I tried to, save tire and then maybe get back up there, but I think I saved just a little too much on that first run. And I got back up there, I made some good time up and that caution came out and, it was, I guess, a good time for the caution because I had nothing. I was in third and I said, heck with it. So Kyle and I were talking. I said, "Dude, let's just take 2 tires and see if we can hold them off." And then, there's only one green, white checkered. So why not, you know, get a quick caution? We want it. So I was really hoping that 9 would stay in the bottom on that restart. So he would kind of push everyone forward and block everyone, but didn't work out that way. Got third. I screwed up last week. I took myself out and racing too aggressive. So I feel like an idiot, but it is what it is. Gonna go out and try to help Kyle as much as I can next week, and we'll see.
Well, Travis, this is Zach up here in the booth. Also, I just got to ask you, man. Taking those 2 tires down at the end, you made that big call to get the track position, get there, like you said, and just hoping to hold on to it there at the end. How big a difference was that on the car, balance wise, and just what was it lacking there at the end for speed?
I just, I wish in practice I was gonna try it and I didn't do it because I said there's no way it works. I think I had a little bit more grip than I thought, and I drove it kind of conservative that first lap because I didn't know what I was gonna expect, but it drove not terrible, but you could just tell the 4 tires was just dominant, that left sides, and I mean, it helped them so much, so, I mean, it was loose, but as you can see a couple times off the corner, I got super loose. You look at it now and you say, "Oh, okay, lane choice. I could have done this or done that and blocked a little bit." I felt like I was getting beat around a little bit and I was able to hang on to it. So, man, it was different. Yeah. But, I wish I maybe practiced it and I could have probably gained a 10th. And, the 10th would have probably made a difference with me, winning and losing.
Yeah, I mean, Travis, it was, I mean, a spectacular season on your part. We're still waiting to see the official points wise, but based on where some of the drivers lie in front of you, doesn't look like you're going to be in our championship four. But final thoughts of the season as we're going to be going into Homestead next week.
I had a good season. I think I won 4 times and, um, over us here at Cyclone. We won, we had the most wins. We're gonna end with the most wins, so that's a positive. I think at times I was maybe a little too aggressive, but that's just who I am. I'm gonna be aggressive, and I'm gonna try to help out my teammates. And a couple times I was aggressive, I helped out my teammates. So, all around good season. I wish we'd stay with these Xfinity cars because they're a lot of fun, but it, it kind of frustrating. I felt like Homestead, I would have had a really good shot into it, but um, gosh, it just, stinks, but it is. You guys did a great job in the booth. I enjoyed it. We have an e-learning day tomorrow for our students, so I might post a link to my Google Classroom and let the kids see it. So it'd be kind of fun for them. But it's just frustrating. Felt like I had a good season, and I kind of felt like last week I kind of threw it all away and just won. Not letting the guy just go by. So it is what it is. Hopefully next season I come back and win it all. So we'll see.
Hey, based on what we've seen here this season, you certainly have the caliber to win a championship for sure. Well, Travis, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, I think my teammates, Brian, Kyle, they were really good throughout the week. They've kind of helped me, and I wasn't very good here yesterday, and I felt like I made some good changes, and they ran good, and made some, I made some good changes thanks to the sports commute, all the thing, Logic Trucking, Gay Watt, Gay Heart, Water. Everyone that helps. It's kind of fun, and I wish I could do this, more and full time, but we all got to live a life, right?
Absolutely. Travis Butt and the double zero going to finish out third here tonight as we wait to see who will be making it into the final four. Congratulations on a great finish here tonight and good luck next week.
Thank you.
As we move on to see our next driver, that being Derek Offerman, who tried everything as well on the inside, but it just wasn't enough for him to get the victory as we move in. Derek, it's Sam up in the booth. You got me?
Yep, I got you.
Well, you went with 4 tires. You had to pass 4 machines to try to go for almost a victory there, but came up just 1 position shy. But how was that final attempt in overtime?
Yeah, that was fun. That was crazy. Yeah, like you said, I think I started what fifth, I think there. Wasn't sure if I was gonna have a shot. And then I did. I just couldn't, keep it down the bottom there.
Yeah, Derek, we definitely could see how hard of a fought battle that was, man. We could, starting in that sixth position there late in the going, but also early in the race, you got that damage getting into the wall early. It seemed to really hamper your car, but man, what a rebound to get yourself back up to the lead late in the race. Kind of take us through the trials and tribulations of the night, man, because you definitely made up a lot of spots after that damage.
Yeah, I think that was lap one or two. Definitely caught the wall pretty good there, and I thought it was gonna be okay, and then slowly and slowly, it just kept getting worse and worse. And I had to pit early again, and luckily it worked out just like kind of how it did last week too. So definitely got lucky here in the playoffs. Coming in last place, I believe, and then having a shot to make it to the final fours. Something I didn't see coming, but definitely happy with how the playoffs went.
Yeah, absolute spectacular how the playoffs have been. 8, Derek, you put in the best effort that you could here tonight, but man, was there anything else that maybe you could have done in those last couple of runs? Derek, you still there?
Can you hear me, Sam?
Yeah, I got you now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Like I said, I do remember at one point I was hoping Button I would sneak there in the bottom. I'll let you guys go. I might be having mic issues.
All good. Derek Offerman in the 20 machine getting a second place finish here tonight. And Derek, good luck next week at Homestead.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Bye.
As Derek Offerman not able to shout out his sponsors, but big thanks to everyone on that 20 team. Second place finish as we now bring in the driver that stunned us all. That of being Dylan Grimm, stealing the show and now having a shot to win a championship. Dylan, it's Sam up at the booth. How you feeling after that one?
I'm feeling amazing and I'm in the final four, and I can't wait till next week.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dylan, this is Zach also up in the booth, man. Congrats, first of all, on getting that win. What a nerve-wracking one it was. You had that caution come out late there. Made the tire to take made the call to take 4 tires there instead of 2 like the rest of the guys did there. Had to restart 5th, man. What a pass from you, man. Just take us through that nerve-wracking scenario there, man, because you made so much time up there on the high side and was just so close to having disaster there with contact, but, man, you did exactly what you needed to get that win.
Yeah, I was really mad when that caution came out in those last couple of laps, and I didn't know, whether to take 2 or 4, just not pit at all, but ended up taking 4, and yeah, I tried to stay on the high side because I knew guys would be dive bombing it and killing their exit, so I just got some good runs on the outside and some lucky openings to get to the front.
Well, Dylan, with this win, you are now racing for a championship. How are you feeling about going to Homestead next week?
Yeah, I mean, Homestead is my best track, but I'm definitely gonna put in some laps there this week and get ready for next week.
Next week is going to be spectacular. Well, before we let you go, Dylan, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, I want to shout out Nate and everyone who puts on this league. It's always these races are always a blast. You guys in the booth, you guys are super professional, and I just love watching back the races, and in my family out there watching tonight.
Dylan Grimm going to be getting the 23 in victory lane as well. Going to be moving on to our championship 4. Congratulations on the win and good luck next week at Homestead.
Thank you guys.
And Zach, just like that, We already know what our top 3 drivers moving on are going to be. Dylan Grimm as well as Kyle McCoy officially in based off of wins. Scott Rickard going to be pointing his way into the next round. But man, still we are waiting for the official mark of who that 4th driver is going to be. I mean, in our minds, unofficially, not really doing the math as detailed as all the bonus points and everything else that needs to be added. Possibly penalties could be served. It looks like Kyle Boylan might be that 4th driver racing for a championship. But as we take a look at our final results unofficially, it's Dylan Grimm, Derek Offerman, Travis Buck going to be your top 3, Nick Holland in 4th, Scott Rickard in 5th, 6th goes Kyle Boylan, Kyle McCoy in 7th, 8th is Chris Wade, top 8, all of our elite 8 that were racing for a shot for a championship, with that of Mike Lynch and that of Brian Chu going to be finishing out your top 10. Great finishes for the 2 and the 11. But Zach, as we take a look at the rest of the results, I mean, what a race Auto Club became. We thought it was going to be green all the way through, and then things got mixy there at the end.
Oh man, they sure did, Sam. You know, just so much different strategy playing out there at the end. We didn't know exactly who was going to win at any point there. You know, we felt like Grimm had a good, strong chance. Then the yellow comes out late in the going to shake everything up, and he has to drive from 5th back to the lead. I mean, I got to commend him just on whatever he did this week to prepare for Auto Club. He needs to bring that same mentality to Homestead, because I tell you what, if he could bring that to there, he was almost lights out tonight. I mean, he was definitely, in my opinion, the fastest car out there, and just he played it to perfection. You got to give the man credit.
Yeah, I mean, he dominated the first about 20 laps, and then it was a kind of a shuffling of who was going to be up there challenging the 23. We thought Kyle McCoy was going to be that driver. At one moment, we thought Nick Holland could possibly win this race. Derek Offerman showed a lot of speed at one moment, but it all came down to the final attempt in overtime. Only one shot to get it done, and it was Dylan Grimm, as we have officially been notified. The 4 drivers racing for a championship, Zach. It's Scott Rickard, Kyle McCoy, Kyle Boylan, as well as Dylan Grimm, are 4 drivers racing for a championship at Homestead next week.
Oh man, that is a great 4. I mean, the 8 drivers we had, I mean, it just shows they finished in the top 8 tonight, how great they were. But now our top 4, it's going to be a heavyweight title fight all the way down to the last lap at Homestead, and what a track to put it on. That's going to be a fantastic race, so make sure you don't miss out on that. And Sam, it's hard to pick a favorite out of all those. I mean, of course, McCoy, he's coming here with so much momentum in the playoffs, but just, you know, Rickard had so many wins in the middle of the season. You have Grimm winning tonight, and Bowling with just consistency throughout the playoffs. Such a good Final 4. I cannot wait for this, man.
And we don't know what we're going to be seeing at Homestead. It is going to be spectacular racing. We finished with the spectacular way here tonight. But man, Zach, thanks for joining me. My name is Sam. And before we end things here tonight, there's still one more man that needs to finish out the call. We're going to throw it over to our producer, Robert Moyer, to finish out the call here tonight.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in out there. Hopefully, everybody enjoys tonight's show here with Stars and Stripes. As like they said, this is the last race here at Auto Club. We do got our final 4 now. Congratulations to those final drivers. Make it to Homestead, try to crown a championship next week, and we'll see who that's all going to be, because that track is very fun to watch, very fun to race at, and I see it just being tooth and nail. One mistake can ruin your championship. Hitting the wall at the wrong place at the wrong time will ruin your championship, possibly. But man, we'll see how that all plays out, and the best way to not miss any of that action is actually to make sure you hit that subscribe button and like button on, and the bell button on YouTube. We do much appreciate that. And if you're going back and watching this replay here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting with Stars and Stripes, make sure that you hit that share button and share it to your favorite social media platform of your choosing. And you can also go out there and check out our other social media platforms, as we got Twitter, we also got Instagram, and we also got Facebook, that you can keep up with all the news here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting all weekend long and all week long on what we got going on for the upcoming weeks until we get through the holidays here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and the leagues. But hopefully everybody enjoyed tonight's show. show, and make sure you let us know if you did. Until we catch everybody again, we will see there. What's our next televised will actually be this Saturday night at 8:50 with Sam Dyer and Brandon's going to be calling all the action with the NISCC Cup Series as they take the Cup cars out here to Auto Club. So we'll see how they all play that out with their race coming up here, and we'll see Zach Hall out there running around with his team, and we'll see how that all plays out Saturday night. So make sure you tune in if you're not busy. But until then, everybody be safe the rest of your Thursday night. Have a great Friday. Don't work too hard. Be safe. Give your loved ones some hugs. But until Saturday night, we want to say here at Freaky Fast, as always, God bless everybody. We love yous all. Peace out.